Right now, get up to a $15 gift card after rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Before we begin, do you have a theory about this case or a story of your own? Share it with me at nightwatchfiles@gmail.com. Your insights could become part of a future episode and be read on air. Let's unravel this together. On August 29th, 2021, 23-year-old Brian Laundrie was hitchhiking in the vicinity of Grand Teton National Park. Around 5:30 p.m., Miranda Baker and her boyfriend encountered Laundrie near Coulter Bay Village. Laundrie approached them, seeking a ride to Jackson. Eager to secure the ride, he offered them $200 for the roughly 10-mile journey. During this encounter, Laundrie shared that he had been camping alone for several days, while his fiancée was at their van working on her social media page. However, Baker noted inconsistencies in Laundrie's appearance, observing that he didn't seem to be very dirty despite his claims of camping in the wilderness for days. The ride took an unexpected turn when Laundrie discovered that Baker and her boyfriend were heading to Jackson Hole instead of Jackson, Wyoming. This revelation seemed to freak out Laundrie, prompting him to request to be let out of the vehicle near Jackson Lake Dam. This occurred less than 30 minutes and 10 miles after the initial pickup, around 6:09 p.m. Between approximately 6:20 p.m. and 6:30 p.m., another car crossed paths with Brian in the same general area and offered him a ride. This ride, however, was notably different from the first. Instead of seeking transport to Jackson, Wyoming, Brian's destination had shifted to the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. The ensuing ride lasted about 20 minutes. Brian offered gas money as a gesture of gratitude, but as they approached the Spread Creek area, his behavior became increasingly unusual. Nearing the campground entrance, Brian grew antsy and insisted on being dropped off at the entrance rather than at their campsite, which lay several miles further into the campground. This reluctance to be driven directly to the campsite struck the driver, Norma Jean Yalk, as odd, hinting at a possible desire to remain unseen or control the final stretch of his journey. Norma obliged, as a sense of unease took over her remaining journey. Who was this unusual hitchhiker, and what was he hiding? Gabrielle Venora Petito was born on March 19, 1999, in Blue Point, New York. Gabby had 6 younger siblings and half-siblings. Even in her youth, Gabby's vibrant personality was evident. Those who knew her described her as bubbly, energetic, and adventurous. Gabby's father, Joe Petito, fondly remembers her infectious laughter and smile, stating it was difficult to keep her out of trouble. Gabby and her stepbrothers appeared in a music video in 2013 to raise awareness about gun violence in America after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. Growing up, Gabby was very active and had many friends. She was a talented and brilliant artist. Gabby's blended family included her mother, Nicole, and stepfather, Jim Schmidt, as well as her father, Joe Petito, and stepmother, Tara. In 2017, Gabby graduated from Bayport Blue Point High School in Bayport, New York. After high school, from September 2017 to January 2019, Gabby lived in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, where she worked as a hostess and in the kitchen of a restaurant in Wilmington. She applied to Cape Fear Community College but did not attend. Gabby had a deep love for adventure and an interest in sharing her life with the world. She was inspired by nature and loved going to the beach to watch sunrises and sunsets. Gabby wanted to document her travels and experiences. Her goal was to inspire others to travel and live life to the fullest. Gabby and Brian Laundrie's paths first crossed during their high school years at Bayport Blue Point High School. While not initially romantically involved, they were part of the same social circle, with Gabby's friends also being friends with Brian. After high school, they reconnected. Brian tells the story of how he spotted Gabby while she was going to the deli. He pulled over, ran up to her. Brian described it as love at first sight, and Gabby described it as the same, as if it was fate. It was around 2019 that their friendship evolved into a romantic relationship. Although Gabby's family teased her about whether or not she and Brian were dating, Gabby maintained that they were just friends. The deepening of their bond led to a significant shift. Gabby decided to move to Florida to be closer to Brian. This decision marked a pivotal moment in their relationship, signaling a commitment to building a life together. In Florida, Gabby and Brian lived with his parents. At first, she seemed to be enjoying living with Brian's family. His mother, Roberta, was sweet. She knitted a lot and made things for Gabby. Their relationship progressed swiftly, and by July 2020, Gabby and Brian were engaged. A friend recalls Brian reaching out to him, expressing his happiness and sharing his plans to propose to Gabby. Brian envisioned a grand, elaborate proposal. However, the actual engagement was a spontaneous event that occurred while they were camping. While they were in the middle of nowhere camping near a large lake surrounded by deer and wildlife, Gabby and Brian were struck by the beauty of their surroundings. They remarked on how beautiful the area was and jokingly suggested that they should get engaged there. Seizing the moment, Brian got down on one knee and proposed to Gabby without a ring. As Brian was proposing, a firefly landed on Gabby's ring finger. Brian took this as a sign from the universe that they were meant to be together, interpreting it as nature's way of affirming their relationship. Gabby's announcement of their engagement was understated. Rather than making a grand announcement, she shared a photo with a few dots and then wrote, "He asked me to marry him, and I said yes." The news of Gabby and Brian's engagement was met with mixed reactions from their family and friends. Some were surprised as the engagement seemed sudden. Gabby's friend, Rose, admitted she was dumbfounded and not ready for the news. Gabby's parents, Tara and Joe, were not asked for Gabby's hand in marriage. When Gabby shared the news with one of her friends, they immediately asked about the ring. Gabby explained that she didn't have a ring yet, but they would get one later. Another friend noted that Gabby didn't want to tell anyone, which was strange. Despite all of this, Gabby seemed happy and excited about her engagement. So, driven by a shared love for adventure and a desire to explore the United States, Gabby and Brian began planning a cross-country trip. Gabby was excited about starting her van life digital journey, where she was creating a whole following of van lifers. Brian Laundrie was described by those who knew him as charismatic, sweet, polite, and quiet. Rose Davis, one of Gabby's close friends, considered Brian like a brother. Gabby's mother, Nicole Schmidt, recalls Brian being polite and quiet. However, behind the facade of a loving relationship, there were signs of trouble. Rose Davis noted that Brian could sometimes exhibit toxic traits. She described him as someone who would manipulate situations to get what he wanted. As an example, Rose mentioned an instance where Brian stole Gabby's ID to prevent her from going out with friends. In December 2020, Petito purchased a 2012 Ford Transit Connect van, which she and Laundrie converted into a camper. To save money for the trip, Petito began working 50-hour weeks at Taco Bell and as a nutritionist, while Laundrie took a job at an organic juice bar. Petito documented her life and travels on social media sites such as YouTube and Instagram, where she described her interests as art, yoga, and veggies. Before embarking on their grand adventure, Gabby and Brian made a stop in Gabby's native Blue Point, New York, on June 17, 2021. This visit was to attend her brother's graduation ceremony, marking a significant family event before they set off on their own path. It was a time for goodbyes and well wishes from loved ones as they prepared to leave for what was supposed to be a 4-month journey. The white 2012 Ford Transit Connect van was more than just a mode of transportation. It was a symbol of their shared dreams and aspirations. They had spent time, money, and effort converting the van into a cozy camper, equipped with a bed, small bookcases, and a wooden counter for preparing food. The van was decorated with plants, art, and photos. Petito posted that converting a Ford Transit into a camper was an adventure in itself. With the van ready and their spirits high, Gabby and Brian officially rolled out on July 2nd. Gabby, an aspiring social media influencer, documented every detail, posting frequently. As they embarked on their journey, both Gabby and Brian expressed their excitement and anticipation for the adventures that lay ahead. They had planned to travel across the West Coast, visiting state and national parks in the western United States. Their departure marked the culmination of months of planning and preparation. Gabby, eager to document and share their experiences, embraced her role as a vlogger, ready to capture every moment of their journey. Gabby and Brian documented their travels on social media, showcasing picturesque landscapes and moments of joy. Gabby, in particular, used Instagram to maintain a personal blog of their journeys, posting photos of herself smiling against scenic backdrops. Their YouTube video titled Van Life, posted on August 19th, offered a glimpse into their seemingly idyllic lifestyle, featuring scenes of them kissing, scaling rocks, and laughing. These posts conveyed an image of a young, adventurous couple living out their dreams. During the first month of their trip, Gabby and Brian explored various destinations in the western United States, such as Monument Rocks, the Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve, Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon National Park, Mystic Hot Springs, and Canyonlands National Park. At Zion National Park, Brian complained about what he called an unfortunate infestation of human beings. In their YouTube video, they laughed about how the Utah sun had melted the chocolate in Brian's granola. Despite the positive image projected on social media, there were indications of underlying tension between the couple. Close friend Rose Davis expressed concern about them spending so much time together. Rose also said that the couple was rocky. As Gabby and Brian traveled on their adventure, there's everything behind the scenes you don't know. 6 weeks into their trip, on August 12th, the first signs of trouble emerged. A 911 call was placed to report a domestic dispute involving the couple near the Moonflower Community Cooperative in Moab, Utah. The caller reported to the Grand County Sheriff's Department that he saw a male hitting a female before both drove away in a white van. The 911 dispatcher asked, "What were they doing?" The caller stated, "We drove by, and the gentleman was slapping the girl." When the dispatcher asked for confirmation if he was slapping her, the witness confirmed, "Yes," and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off. Another witness described the incident to police as looking like Petito and Laundrie were talking aggressively, and that Petito was punching him in the arm. The witness said it looked like Laundrie was trying to leave Petito behind and take her phone with him. Before they drove off together, she climbed into the driver's seat, moved over into the passenger seat so he could drive, and asked him, "Why do you have to be so mean?" Upon receiving the 911 call, officers from the Moab City Police Department were dispatched to investigate. The 911 caller gave the dispatcher a description of the vehicle and the Florida license plate number of their white van. Officers spotted Gabby and Brian driving erratically outside the Arches National Park and conducted a traffic stop. During the stop, officers separated the couple and began questioning them about the incident. Gabby told the officers, "I was apologizing to him and saying I'm sorry that I'm so mean because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I can get really frustrated, not like mean towards him. My vibe is I'm in a bad mood. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning, and I just now quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog. And he doesn't really believe that I could do any of it, so we've just been fighting all morning, and he wouldn't let me in the car before." Petito first downplayed the physical altercation. After the officer pointed out marks on her arm and face and told her to just be honest, she said that Laundrie kept telling her to shut up and grabbed her face, which had caused an injury. Laundrie told the officer, quote, "I said, let's just take a breather and let's not go anywhere and just calm down for a minute. She was getting worked up, and then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys from me. I know I shouldn't push her. I was just trying to push her away to go, let's take a minute and step back and breathe and see. She got me with her phone." Petito told the officer that she hit Laundrie first and asked the officers to not separate them. In his report, one of the officers wrote, "At no point in my investigation did Gabrielle stop crying, breathing heavily, or compose a sentence without needing to wipe away tears wipe her nose, or rub her knees with her hands. The male tried to create distance by telling Gabby to take a walk to calm down. She did not want to be separated from the male and began slapping him. He grabbed her face and pushed her back as she pressed upon him and the van. Following the traffic stop by Moab City Police Department officers, the immediate concern was addressing the reported domestic dispute between Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. Despite the 911 call and witness statements indicating a physical altercation where Brian was seen slapping Gabby, neither wanted to press charges. The officers characterized the incident as a mental breakdown rather than domestic violence, which would have mandated an arrest. Gabby was described to be crying, breathing heavily, and unable to speak without pause. Brian was described as calm, cool, collected, and manipulative. Instead of making an arrest, the police decided to separate the couple for the night. Brian was given a ride to the Bowen Motel in Moab, while Gabby was told to stay in the van. The city of Moab said the officers showed kindness, respect, and empathy in their handling of the incident. Just days after the traffic stop, Gabby and Brian resumed their road trip and headed north to Salt Lake City. On August 19th, Gabby posted an edited 8-minute video showing their journey together. Despite the seemingly positive social media presence, there were indications of more underlying tension between Gabby and Brian. The last confirmed sighting of Gabby occurred on August 27th. Gabby and Brian were seen at the Mary Piglet's Tex-Mex restaurant in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. A witness reported that Brian exhibited aggressive behavior and argued with the restaurant staff, apparently over financial matters. Gabby was observed crying and subsequently apologizing for Brian's behavior, suggesting a relationship under considerable strain. Another witness at the restaurant described Gabby seeming like she was at her breaking point. Adding to the timeline, on the same day, Gabby and Brian were captured on CCTV at a Whole Foods store in Jackson, Wyoming. They arrived at the parking lot at 2:11 p.m., entered the store at 2:14 p.m., exited at 2:30 p.m., and returned to their van. After approximately 20 minutes, they drove away at 2:56 p.m., heading north on Highway 89 towards the Bridger-Teton National Forest campsite. Gabby also sent a Snapchat to a friend that day, remarking, "Hey, I'm in Jackson Hole, and it reminded me of you." On August 27th, a text from Gabby's phone was sent to her mother which read, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." The message raised concerns for Petito's mother, who said that Stan was Petito's grandfather and that she never referred to him by his first name. The last message, sent on August 30th, simply said, "No service in Yosemite." This raised immediate concerns, as it was inconsistent with their planned location and communication habits. Her parents attempted to contact the Laundries numerous times. From the moment Gabby's mother stopped getting responses from her daughter through text messages, she attempted to contact Roberta Laundrie to see if she had heard from the kids. Her messages went unanswered, and when the app interface changed colors in the outgoing message bubbles, it indicated she had likely been blocked. The next day, August 28th, Brian embarked on a hike from the Spread Creek area, heading north toward the Coulter Bay camping area. During this hike, he took photographs, capturing scenic views as well as images of deceased animals' bones. On August 29th, Miranda Baker and her boyfriend picked up Brian as he hitchhiked in Grand Teton National Park. He claimed to have been hiking alone for days while his fiancée remained at their campground. Offering $200 for a ride to Jackson, Wyoming, he abruptly freaked out upon learning they were heading to Jackson Hole, requesting to be let out of the car. Baker found it peculiar that Brian offered so much money and appeared clean despite his claim of camping. Later that afternoon, Norma Jean Yalk picked up Brian and drove him to the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. He insisted on being dropped off at the entrance, displaying anxiety as they neared the campsite. Yalk found his behavior odd, especially given the darkness and the distance of the campsite from the entrance. On September 11th, Gabby had been unreachable for 12 days, so her parents decided to report her missing. At this moment, police attempted to reach Brian Laundrie at his parents' house upon learning of his return to Florida. Body camera footage documenting law enforcement's interactions with his parents presents a study in obstruction and evasion, revealing the Laundrie family's consistent refusal to cooperate with the investigation into Gabby Petito's disappearance. This footage has become a crucial element in understanding the Laundrie family's behavior and the difficulties encountered by law enforcement during the initial stages of the investigation. Upon arriving at the Laundrie residence, officers were met with immediate resistance, as Christopher and Roberta Laundrie directed them to their attorney, declining to answer questions about Gabby's whereabouts or Brian's return to Florida without her. This immediate referral to legal counsel raised red flags for investigators and the public. The family's decision to involve an attorney so early in the investigation suggested a possible awareness of wrongdoing or an intention to impede the investigation. When a detective called Brian's sister, she stated Brian was home and claimed he left Gabby at a hotel and flew back. When officers arrived at the Laundrie's residence and asked if they could speak with Brian, the parents stated he was not going to talk to them. Despite repeated attempts by law enforcement to elicit information, the parents provided little insight into the circumstances surrounding Gabby's disappearance or Brian's actions. In a statement, the Laundries' attorney said that many people were wondering why Brian would not make a statement or speak with law enforcement in the face of his fiance's absence. He claimed that, in his experience, intimate partners are often the first person law enforcement focuses their attention on, and any statement made will be used against you. As such, on the advice of counsel, Laundrie was not speaking on this matter. Law enforcement surveilled the Laundrie home and saw him leave on September 13th. 2 days later, they saw his car return. Police believed the person who exited the car and entered the home was Laundrie. But on September 17th, Laundrie was reported missing by his parents, who claimed not to have seen him since September 13. It was at this time that police realized that they had mistaken Laundrie's mother for Laundrie himself on September 15th. It was now a search for two missing persons. Nikki Passanante was living a life that, while ordinary in its everyday moments, was on the cusp of an extraordinary intersection with Gabby's, playing a significant role, transitioning from a close friend to an active advocate and a voice for Gabby after her disappearance. Nikki's involvement highlights the power of personal connections and the determination of those who loved Gabby to seek answers in justice. Nikki's role began as a deeply personal one, rooted in her close friendship with Gabby and their families. As news of Gabby's disappearance spread, Nikki, like many others, was drawn into the search, driven by a desire to bring her friend home safely. Nikki's initial reaction was marked by a profound sense of urgency and a determination to do whatever she could to help find Gabby. Recognizing the power of social media, Nikki turned to platforms like TikTok to amplify Gabby's story and reach a wider audience. She understood that the more people who knew about Gabby's disappearance, the greater the chances of finding her. In a heartfelt video, Nikki shared Gabby's story, urging viewers to spread the word and help bring her home. Nikki wanted the story to go as far as it could across as many states as possible in order to bring her home safe, and figured TikTok is the best way to do that. This initiative quickly gained traction as thousands of people shared and reposted Nikki's video, demonstrating the power of social media in missing person cases. As the search for Gabby intensified, Nikki became a prominent voice in the media, sharing her memories of Gabby and speaking about her character and spirit. Nikki described Gabby as one of the coolest people she had ever met, with warmth about her, and felt like a beautiful soul. She wanted to ensure that Gabby was remembered not just as a missing person, but as a vibrant and loving individual. Nikki's willingness to speak publicly, despite her initial hesitation, demonstrates her unwavering commitment to Gabby and her determination to keep her memory alive. The story began to gain traction in the media through Nikki's advocacy, and internet sleuthing as to what could have happened to Gabby started to run rampant. Hashtags like Find Gabby Petito were topping searches everywhere throughout social media. By this point, the public in general was thoroughly invested in the search and in finding answers. What happened to her? Why did her fiancé came back home from their cross-country road trip without her? Some pieces of the puzzle started to fall into place when the police body cam footage from the incident in Moab, Utah, was released to the public. It sparked significant media and public reaction, profoundly shaping perceptions of their relationship. The public erupted in anger, and followers of the story on social media expressed outrage. Many felt the police had failed Gabby and missed critical signs of domestic abuse. Forensic psychologist Dr. Chris Mohandy pointed out that the officers seemed to overlook Gabby accepting blame and apologizing, a common behavior in domestically violent relationships where one party takes responsibility for the other's actions. The independent investigator later suggested Gabby was likely a long-term victim of domestic violence. Nikki Passanante also spoke about the incident in Utah, noting the multiple indicators of coercive control and domestic abuse apparent in the footage, and that the images were hard to watch due to her friend's visible distress, shaking and crying uncontrollably. In examining the footage, a criminal behavioral analyst named Laura Richards, with expertise in coercive control, stalking, and homicide, offered a detailed assessment. Richards' analysis, drawing from her professional experience profiling cases similar to Gabby's, highlighted several indicators of coercive control and domestic abuse within their relationship. Richards described as a behavioral regime predominantly used by men, with women as victims. Her evaluation of the body cam footage revealed multiple signs of this pattern. One significant aspect she noted was how Brian attempted to minimize Gabby's concerns and website aspirations, using language that diminished her endeavors. Further, Richards pointed out Brian's focus on his own injuries and portraying himself as the victim, while trying to maintain calm and distance from Gabby. This behavior is indicative of an abuser's tactic to manipulate the situation and control the narrative. Richards highlighted a moment where Gabby acted out how Brian grabbed her face, emphasizing the authenticity of the event. She interpreted this gesture, along with hands around the throat or mouth, as sending a clear message of dominance and control. Based on her observations, Richards concluded that the incident in Utah displayed multiple indicators of coercive control and domestic abuse. She noted that in cases like Gabby's, there is often an escalation of violence, ultimately leading to femicide. Richards stressed that once hands are placed around the neck or throat, the situation never de-escalates, marking it as a high-risk factor. The footage offered a stark contrast to the carefully curated image the couple presented on social media, where they appeared to be a happy, carefree couple enjoying their van life adventure. The body cam footage revealed underlying tensions and potential abuse. This divergence between their public image and the reality suggested by the footage fueled public interest and speculation about the true nature of their relationship. The media played a crucial role in disseminating the body cam footage and expert analyses, further amplifying public awareness and concern. News outlets dissected the footage, highlighting the potential red flags and expert opinions on domestic violence. This coverage contributed to a broader discussion about recognizing and addressing domestic abuse, with many questioning whether the tragedy could have been averted had the police intervened more decisively during the Moab incident. The release of the Moab body cam footage served as a turning point in the Gabby Petito case. It shattered the illusion of a perfect relationship. This revelation ignited public outrage, prompting scrutiny of law enforcement's handling of the situation and fueling a broader conversation about domestic violence awareness and prevention. In the wake of Gabby Petito's disappearance, a digital rallying cry emerged, uniting countless individuals under a single banner, the hashtag #GabbyPetito. This tag became more than just a label. It evolved into a symbol of hope and a testament to the internet's collective determination to bring Gabby home. It acted as a virtual town square where individuals from across the globe converged to share information, express solidarity, and contribute to the search effort. The Gabby Petito hashtag served as a central hub for aggregating information related to the case. News articles, social media posts, and eyewitness accounts were all tagged and shared, allowing individuals to stay informed about the latest developments. This aggregation of information proved invaluable, as it ensured that critical updates were easily accessible to the public, law enforcement, and Gabby's loved ones. Nikki Passanante posted the missing persons flyer to Facebook groups, Instagram, Twitter, anything she could think of. Beyond its informational function, the Gabby Petito hashtag fostered a sense of community among those following the case. It provided a space for individuals to connect with others who shared their concern and determination to find Gabby. This sense of community was particularly important during a time of uncertainty and anxiety, as it allowed people to support one another and collectively channel their energy towards a common goal. The hashtag also facilitated the sharing of potential leads and tips, some of which proved valuable to law enforcement in their investigation. Eyewitness accounts, sightings, and other relevant information were all shared using the hashtag, allowing investigators to quickly and efficiently assess their value. This collaborative approach, where ordinary citizens contributed to the investigative process, highlighted the power of the internet to assist in solving complex cases. Then, this effort began to yield tangible results. A couple named Kyle and Jen Bethune played an instrumental role in the investigation, and it all began with a notification from an RV friend. The Bethunes, who share their life and travels on social media under the name Red, White, and Bethune, were made aware of the possibility that they may have captured Gabby Petito's van on video while in the Grand Teton National Park. It all began when a friend contacted the Bethunes with the information that Gabby and Brian may have been in Bridger Teton National Forest at the same time as the Bethunes. The message from their RV friend was simple but held immense potential. Red, White, and Bethune, check any footage you have, the friend urged, adding, the timeline has changed. This message was prompted because Gabby was part of the RV community and word spread quickly when she went missing. This notification spurred Jen into action. Knowing that they had been in the same area around the time Gabby was last seen, Jen jumped out of bed, according to Kyle, and immediately began reviewing the video footage they had captured during their time in Wyoming. The Bethunes recalled seeing a white van and combed through their footage to see if it appeared. Their diligence paid off. As they meticulously reviewed their footage, they spotted a white van that seemed strikingly familiar. Lo and behold, we saw it, clear as day, Kyle Bethune later recounted. Upon closer inspection, they realized that the van matched the description of Gabby Petito's van. We, for some reason, just instantly knew that it was hers, the couple said. Realizing the potential significance of their discovery, the Bethunes wasted no time in contacting the authorities. Jen called the FBI to alert them to their discovery. The person she spoke to directed her to a website to share tips about the case. They uploaded the video there and also added it to the beginning of a video they had planned to release that morning. They also posted it on YouTube and Facebook. The video went viral. The Bethunes' footage proved to be a crucial piece of evidence in the search for Gabby. It helped investigators narrow down the search area in the vast wilderness of the Grand Teton National Park. FBI Special Agent Kyle explained, "I was at the forward command post when we received the Bethune video. The video allowed investigators to corroborate the information that they already had and give them a much better search area." The FBI painstakingly scrutinized the footage, aligning each rock and crevice to pinpoint the precise location where the van had been parked. With renewed resolve, authorities launched meticulous grid searches of the area. Then, a mere 48 hours later,
Good afternoon. My name is Charles Jones. I'm the Supervisory Senior Resident Agent here in Wyoming for FBI Denver. As you are aware, FBI personnel, in coordination with our partners at National Park Service, the Forest Service, Teton County Sheriff's Office, and Jackson Police Department, have been conducting an investigative activity in the vicinity of the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. Earlier today, human remains were discovered, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. It's an ongoing investigation, sir. We cannot answer those, unfortunately.
the site of this discovery lay approximately 250 yards from where the Bethunes' camera had rolled. This proximity emphasized the pivotal role played by the Bethunes' footage in guiding law enforcement directly to the area where Gabby was eventually found. The grim discovery itself was made by a horseback team. Their vantage point allowed them to spot potential remains, which were found arranged very neatly tucked in a blanket, a detail that piqued suspicion and hinted at a possible staging of the scene. Such an arrangement seemed inconsistent with the notion of someone merely succumbing to the elements. The cause of death for Gabby Petito was determined to be homicide by manual strangulation and blunt force injuries to the head and neck. The coroner estimated that Gabby had been deceased for 3 to 4 weeks before her body was discovered, placing her time of death in late August 2021. The discovery of Gabby Petito's remains sent shockwaves through her family and friends, triggering a cascade of grief, devastation, and disbelief. Those closest to Gabby grappled with the unimaginable reality that her vibrant life had been brutally cut short, forever altering the course of their own lives. The news spread rapidly, amplified by the intense media scrutiny that had surrounded Gabby's disappearance, and those who knew and loved her struggled to come to terms with the tragic outcome. For Gabby's parents, Nicole Schmidt and Joe Petito, the confirmation that their daughter was deceased was an earth-shattering blow. They had tirelessly campaigned for her safe return, clinging to hope even as the days turned into weeks without any contact. The moment that Gabby's stepfather, Jim Schmidt, was informed that remains consistent with Gabby's description were found, his heart sunk. He later received the devastating phone call confirming that the remains were Gabby, and he had to identify her using a photo of an item of clothing provided by the FBI. Gabby's father tweeted a simple but poignant, "She touched the world," accompanied by a picture of Gabby posing in front of a wall painting of a pair of wings. Close friends of Gabby were equally devastated by the news. One friend recounted the moment she learned of Gabby's death, saying that she went into shock. Many of Gabby's friends remembered her as a bubbly, energetic, and adventurous soul who brought joy and light to the lives of those around her. While this discovery afforded a measure of closure to Gabby's grieving family, it simultaneously signaled a somber shift in the investigation. Law enforcement refocused their energies on locating Brian Laundrie, and on September 23rd, they issued a federal arrest warrant for him. Following the report of Brian Laundrie's disappearance, a wide-ranging search operation was initiated involving various law enforcement agencies and advanced search techniques. The search for Brian took place primarily in the Carlton Reserve and the adjacent Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park in Florida. Brian Laundrie's parents reported him missing on September 17th, claiming he had not been seen since September 13. They stated he left the house to go hiking and never returned. The search focused on the Carlton Reserve, a vast and challenging terrain encompassing approximately 24,000 acres. This area includes wooded regions, bodies of water, and swampy areas, making the search particularly difficult. The Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park was also included in the search. The search involved multiple law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and the Northport Police Department. More than 50 officers and FBI agents combed the 24,000-acre park. Authorities deployed a variety of resources to navigate the challenging terrain, including air units, drones, and sniffer dogs. They used swamp buggies and airboats to access different areas within the reserve. They also used dive teams. The search was complicated by the swampy conditions of the reserve, with areas described as waist-deep or chest-deep in water. The area is known to have snakes and alligators, making the search dangerous. The challenging environment made it difficult for search teams to navigate. At the time of the discovery of Gabby's remains, it was speculated that Brian Laundrie was not missing, but actually on the run to evade the arrest warrant that was issued for him. Brian's father joined investigators in the search for him at the T. Mabry Carlton Reserve in Sarasota County, Florida. He focused on areas he used to frequent in the reserve and the adjacent Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. On October 20th, approximately 1 month after Brian was reported missing, investigators found what appeared to be human remains, along with personal items such as a backpack and a notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie. Chris Laundrie found a waterproof bag that belonged to Brian. The remains were found in an area that had previously been underwater, which may explain why they were not discovered earlier in the search. On October 21st, dental records confirmed that the remains were those of Brian Laundrie. According to the autopsy report, Brian died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The notebook discovered near Brian Laundrie's remains contained his written confession to the killing of Gabby Petito, the FBI revealed. In June 2022, the public was given access to 8 pages from Brian's notebook. In it, Brian alleges that on a hike in Spread Creek, Gabby was injured and hypothermic and begged him to end her life. Brian wrote, "I ended her life. I thought it was merciful, that it was what she wanted." He added, "But I see now all the mistakes I made. I panicked. I was in shock." Laundrie also wrote that following Gabby's murder, he traveled home to spend his last days with his family. He also left letters to his family, mostly saying goodbye and that he loved them. In his writings, Brian also pleaded that no one should make things more difficult for his parents, saying, "Leave my parents out of this. They didn't do anything wrong," and referred to Gabby as the love of his life. The note concluded with Laundrie's plan to commit suicide, writing, "I am ending my life not because of a fear of punishment, but rather because I can't stand to live another day without her." Also writing that he killed himself by the creek in the hopes that animals would tear him apart, an act that might bring happiness to some of Gabby's family. Law enforcement found the contents of the notebook to be confusing. Also, some experts contend that Laundrie's account does not align with investigators' findings. Michael Alcazar from the John Jay College of Criminal Justice stated Laundrie was trying to justify his actions and did not want to own up to what he did. In addition to the notebook, authorities found pictures of Brian and Gabby in the waterproof bag that contained the notebook. Following Brian Laundrie's death, the aftermath of the case involved legal actions, media scrutiny, and the efforts of Gabby Petito's family to bring attention to other missing persons and domestic violence issues. After Gabby's death, her family initiated lawsuits, a lawsuit against the Laundrie family and a lawsuit against the Moab City Police Department. In March 2022, the Petito family filed a lawsuit against Brian's parents, alleging they knew about Gabby's death weeks before her body was discovered. The Laundries denied these allegations, and the lawsuit was later resolved confidentially in February 2024 to avoid further legal expenses and conflict. In November 2022, Gabby's family was awarded $3 million in a lawsuit against Brian Laundrie's parents' estate. The other lawsuit was filed against the Moab City Police Department, claiming that officers mishandled a domestic violence incident between Gabby and Brian on August 12, 2021. The lawsuit claimed that the officers failed to protect Gabby from abuse, which the family believed contributed to her death. According to attorney Brian Stewart, the family believes that Gabby would still be alive today if the police officers had the proper training and had followed the law in how they responded to Gabby's situation. The city of Moab stated that it believed the officers showed kindness, respect, and empathy in their handling of the incident. The city intends to implement the recommendations of the independent review, which include more domestic violence investigation-related training and legal training to ensure officers understand Utah's state laws. A judge ultimately dismissed the wrongful death suit against Moab police. The Gabby Petito case also sparked debate about selective coverage and the phenomenon known as missing white woman syndrome. It was noted that cases involving young white women often receive disproportionate media attention compared to those involving people of color or other demographics. Between 2011 and 2020, more than 2,700 indigenous people were reported missing. Gabby's father, Joseph Petito, acknowledged the disparities and used his platform to advocate for greater attention to missing persons cases involving marginalized groups. He noted that he still sees people missing who aren't getting the notoriety they should. He stated his motivation is to continue down a positive path, stay focused on doing good things, and create good change that's going to help a lot of people. Despite the criticism, Gabby's family hoped that her story would raise awareness about domestic violence and inspire others to leave abusive relationships. Gabby's mother noted that she receives messages from people who were inspired by Gabby to get out of a relationship. Gabby's friend noted that right before she met Gabby, she was in an abusive relationship, and Gabby was the one who helped her. The Gabby Petito Foundation was established to support these causes and to help other families of missing persons. Joe Petito said that he couldn't be prouder as a father seeing her literally touch the globe, and she's going to help a lot of people. He described Gabby as having had a beautiful soul. On January 21, 2022, the FBI issued a final report declaring that the investigation had concluded. Gabby's family embarked on a deeply personal journey to the Spread Creek dispersed camping area, the very place where she was found. This was more than just a visit. It was a pilgrimage for Gabby's loved ones, including her parents, siblings, and close friends, Jackson and Rose. The primary purpose of this trip was to connect with Gabby one last time and to honor her memory in the serene yet rugged landscape where she spent her final moments. The family wanted to visit the precise location where Gabby's body was discovered, seeking solace and a sense of closure in the place that held such profound significance. It was a chance for them to say their goodbyes and to reflect on the beautiful soul that touched so many lives. Visiting the site also allowed Gabby's siblings and friends to share in this experience of remembrance and mourning. For Gabby's parents, seeing the landscape that Gabby last saw was essential for them to process what happened. The area is a natural landscape of open spaces and majestic mountains. The family's presence there was a testament to their love for Gabby and their determination to find peace amidst unimaginable heartbreak. Their presence in that spot served as a powerful statement of love and remembrance. They also scattered her ashes there, ensuring that her spirit would forever remain a part of that landscape. If you're feeling trapped in a toxic relationship or facing abuse, you're not alone. Help is available. Visit wannatalkaboutit.com for support, resources, and a safe space to talk. You deserve to be heard.